All right, let's just get right into it. There's an entire generation of young people, right now, who are starting their careers, and the promise they were given of a stable path forward, it's pretty much been shattered. They picked their college majors in one world, and now they're graduating into a completely different one, a world being totally reshaped by AI. We're talking about the transition generation. And this quote, man, it just nails the feeling of a broken promise. These choices that seemed so safe, so logical just a few years ago now feel incredibly uncertain. It's like the rules of the game between getting an education and getting a job were completely rewritten and nobody got the memo. And look, this isn't just a vibe or a feeling people have. The data shows this dramatic shift. In just one single year, excitement about AI among Gen Z absolutely plummeted, while anger, well, that spiked. This isn't some abstract fear about the future. It's a very real, direct response to what they see as a threat to their careers.
But here's where it gets really interesting. The common story we all hear, that AI is just taking jobs, is actually missing the real underlying crisis. The problem is so much deeper and more complex than simple job replacement.
This is the question we hear all the time, right? The headlines are full of it, and yeah, sure, some jobs are being displaced. But the sources we looked at argue that focusing only on that replacement part, it's a distraction. It hides a much deeper, more structural problem that's hitting young people the hardest. And that brings us to this core concept, structural pathway collapse. This isn't just about losing a job. It's about losing the entire career ladder. Think about it. The very rungs that people used to climb from junior to senior, they're starting to vanish. I mean, junior roles were basically a modern apprenticeship, right? You learn the job by doing all of the repetitive, foundational stuff. Well, now AI does all of that work. So the big question is, how does the next generation learn the ropes if the ropes themselves are just gone?
Okay, so let's dive into the hard numbers, because this is where things get kind of weird. The data tells two completely different stories at the exact same time. It's a story of doom, and it's a story of boom.
First up, the doom. And listen, this isn't some future forecast. This is from Goldman Sachs looking at actual payroll data. It shows that AI has already eliminated a net 192,000 jobs in the US over the last year. This is happening right now.
And you want to know who's getting hit the hardest? It's the young folks. Employment for software developers who are just starting out, we're talking 22 to 25 years old, has dropped by a staggering 20% since 2024. They are right on the front lines of this disruption.
But hold on, because if we stop there, we're only seeing half the picture. The data also points toward massive growth and incredible new opportunities. And that's where this whole paradox really kicks in.
And here's the boom. The World Economic Forum projects that while AI will displace 92 million jobs by 2030, it's also going to create 170 million new ones. You do the math. That's a net gain of 78 million jobs. So the real question becomes, who is actually qualified to do these new jobs? This is such a powerful statement from the CEO of NVIDIA. It completely reframes the whole debate, doesn't it? He's basically saying that cutting jobs isn't some inevitable outcome of technology. It's a failure of imagination and a failure of strategy by leaders. So if the old career paths are crumbling, what do? How do you even begin to navigate this new reality? Well, it all starts by fundamentally changing how we think about skills. So why are we seeing so much job replacement? A lot of it comes down to this idea called the Turing trap. We've become so focused on making AI that can imitate and replace what humans already do, that's substitution, that we're missing the much bigger opportunity, creating AI that augments us, that helps us do brand new things we couldn't do before.
And what this all means is that the old T-shaped model, having one deep skill, it's just not enough anymore. The future belongs to what's being called the M-shaped worker. You have your deep expertise, let's say in finance, but then you build a second peak of deep expertise in AI. That way, you're not the finance pro who gets replaced by AI, you become the finance pro who manages the AI.
What's really fascinating here is that beyond all the technical skills, the most valuable abilities are becoming the most human ones. As AI handles all the routine stuff, things like empathy, ethical judgment, creativity, and leadership, those become the premium skills, the real game changers in the job market. But let's be really clear here. This is not a problem that individuals can solve on their own just by upskilling. The source is very direct about this. This is a systemic challenge, and it's going to require a coordinated response from every part of our society. So what's the game plan? Well, it really breaks down into a four-part strategy. Students need to get their hands dirty and build real, applied AI fluency. Universities have to tear up the old playbook and partner with companies. Employers need to step up and actually reinvest in training new talent through things like paid apprenticeships. And policymakers, they need to change the rules to reward companies that empower people, not just replace them.
Ultimately, the future isn't fixed. We are standing at a crossroads. Are we going to let this be a generation lost to disruption? Or are we going to transform our institutions to create a future where humans and AI can thrive together? The trap is absolutely real, no doubt about it. But as the source reminds us, you can always avoid a trap if you see it in time.